Welcome back, Geek fans. We're here today to talk about Man in the High Castle. We're going to talk about Episode 1. This is an Amazon show, because Amazon is now getting into the business along with Netflix and those other providers. I've actually seen the whole series, but Jacob just watched the first episode. So this really, Jacob, I want to hear your thoughts. What did you, before getting into the show, what did you know about it? What were your thoughts before seeing it?
Well, all I knew before it was that it was a show about what if the Germans had won in World War II. And that was a really interesting premise, and so just from watching the first trailer, I was in, and I wanted to watch it, but there's so much going on, with school and everything else with this show, so I eventually got to it, sat down, watched the first episode, and I really liked it. I didn't love it, I'm not there yet, but it's really hard to make me really love a show from the first episode, but the show definitely got me interested. I really want to see what happens in the rest of the season. And I really liked, they got it right, what America would actually be like if the Germans had won and taken over.
Yeah.
And they have this really interesting side plot of, we actually won the war? What's actually going on there? They have these newsreels of actually shows that we won the war. And then one of the characters is like, well, it's fake, it can't be real. We didn't win the war. And it's like, well, that's what they told us. So I'm really interested to see what's happening there. I hope it's not some weird alternate reality shit. I don't know, that wouldn't fit with the show, but I like what they're doing. I like how Hitler's still around, and his son is gonna take over and blow up the world, or not his son, but someone else is gonna take over and blow up the world. I don't know.
Well, so Hitler has his generals and his top guys, and there's talk because Jacob didn't mention that the Germans won, but the Japanese also won.
Yeah.
So the Germans control the east coast and the eastern half of the United States. The Japanese control the Pacific states. There's the Greater Nazi Reich, and then there's the Japanese Pacific states. So there's this tension between the Germans and the Japanese, and this is something I really like about it, is they show the different societies, and they really get it accurate to the culture of the German military and the Japanese. They really get the culture right. It's really good.
And this takes place in the 60s, which I didn't know. I thought it took place in present day, but it takes place in the 60s. That's cool. And it actually makes more sense for them to do it in that time period, because it would be a little bit too of a stretch for them to do it in present day. We wouldn't actually know what would it.
It'd be so hard to predict.
Yeah.
This you can. Again, you're still making a lot of stuff up, but you can make it more reasonable based on. Hitler can still be alive for one.
Yeah.
Because he's alive in the show. So I think it's a really great alternative alternative history take. The acting is fantastic. I like the show also because the characters have a lot of depth to them, and you'll see that as you watch the other episodes. There's only 10 episodes, so Jacob, you better watch it all.
I will.
So the characters, all the characters, even in the very first episode, we see a taste of that. The characters are more than what they seem.
Yeah.
Where one character who seems very clearly they're part of the resistance, because there's a resistance movement against both the Japanese occupation and the Nazi occupation. But at the end, he's actually a Nazi agent.
Yeah.
Right, which I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, because they didn't
hint at that at all.
No.
So, but I really like how they change history in this. And there's this one line where the guy's like, "I saw my friend's brains get blown out at Virginia Beach." That just hit home to me. I'm like, okay, they're really trying to make it so the war actually came to the U.S.
Right, Washington D.C. got hit by an atomic bomb.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't really go into too much detail about this, which I like, because you get too much detail, you start to pick it apart. Yeah. It's kind of vague, but it seems like, as far as I can tell, is the Germans developed the atom bomb first.
Yeah.
They got to the technology first.
Yeah.
So then they were able to use it against us. That's how, they don't talk too much about that, which is smart.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you start picking it apart and going, wait, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
They just give you vague things. Like if you say, oh, they had the atomic bomb first, well, that seems plausible. That they just got it first. They hit the technology first, and then they used it against us. Yeah. Right? That's not crazy. So it's cool how they do it.
Yeah, and then there's another thing. They're starting to set up these really interesting characters, like the villains especially. There's the guy who one of the main characters is answering to.
Obergruppenführer. Obergruppenführer.
Yeah, it's a really hard name to remember.
Obergruppenführer.
Yeah, so he's a really terrifying villain already.
And I love that actor. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I've seen him in a lot of things because he's kind of maybe typecast in a lot of historical drama roles for the BBC. Right, and I've seen him in a bunch of British productions, like Charles II, where he plays King Charles II. He plays a lot of those kind of roles, and this fits him. Like, it makes sense that he'd be in that role. And he plays good and bad guys, like before. So this I like the actor that plays Oben Grupenführer Smith.
Yeah. There's another
the name. I love the name. I love how they say the name.
And there's another really interesting side plot going on with the. He's some kind of Japanese leader, and he's meeting with some kind of German leader, and they're making plans.
He's the head of the trade ministry. Okay. The trade minister. He's talking to I think it's a former German general. They might say later on what he is. Now he's just a German businessman, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're discussing like what's actually going to happen once Hitler dies.
Once Hitler dies,
this other guy takes over. So, I really like this show, and I really like seeing what would actually be like in America if the Germans had won the war. And I hope it's a continuing series. I hope they leave it open ended at the end of season 1, because I think this is a show that could go on for multiple seasons. And I just really like how they're doing it. And there's that one part in the first episode where one of the main characters, he gets stranded on the road, and then that cop comes over and helps him change the attire, and then we see stuff starting raining down from the sky, and he's like, "What's that?" It's like, "Oh, it's a hospital nearby. They burn people on Tuesdays." Like, what?
They're burning the infirm, the sick, the paralyzed.
Yeah, that was just like, whoa, man! Like in the
because they had the Nazi credo in full effect.
Yeah, in that cop. He explains how he fought in the war, and he's like, I don't even know what we were fighting about anymore. And now he's just now ashes raining down from the sky is just normal to him.
Yep. It's really neat seeing the new normal. Yeah. And in the Pacific States is really interesting, because in the Pacific States, being American sucks.
Yeah.
In the German States, if you have the proper heritage, you can get ahead.
Yeah.
But in the Pacific States, if you're not Japanese, you're screwed.
That's actually really, really cool, because Hitler had the whole thing about the perfect race,
right?
And so he's not actually putting that into effect. But if you look the right way, you're better off than if you don't look the right way. So I really like this show. I definitely recommend going to watch it. I'm gonna try to watch the rest of the season. It's probably gonna take me a while, but once I get like a few episodes in it and it really hits me,
it's gonna hook you. It's gonna hook you, Mr. Cobb.
Yeah, I'm just gonna binge watch the whole thing.
Binge watch it, dude.
Yeah.
So check out the Man in the High Castle. We'll be back to do like a full review. We'll give it a letter grade like we're doing now. So check it out. Check us out on Geeks the Movies, on YouTube, on Facebook, wherever we're at. Give us a like, give us a comment, subscribe, all that stuff. We'll talk to you guys later.